Cemil Önal, a key figure in exposing a vast money laundering and illegal betting network tied to Turkish political elites, was shot dead in a protected hotel in the Netherlands, raising questions over international intelligence complicity. BBC World Service has published a new investigative documentary about the Turkish military incursion into the Kurdistan region of Iraq and the impact it has had on civilians in the region. The highest religious authority of the Druze community in Syria has called on the international community to urgently intervene, as Druze cities remain encircled and under curfew following brutal attacks by extremist forces. Thousands gathered in Kobane's Shehit Egid Square to mark International Workers' Day, as the autonomous administration declared an official holiday, and the Syrian Democratic Council reaffirmed its commitment to workers' rights within a democratic and decentralized Syria. Learn more with Medya News. A key whistleblower in a sprawling transnational money laundering scandal tied to Turkish political elites has been assassinated in the Netherlands, despite being under official witness protection. Cemil Önal, a former accountant for Cypriot crime boss Halil Falyali, was shot dead in broad daylight outside a protected hotel in The Hague on the 1st of May. Dutch police described the killing as a professional execution. The unidentified gunman fled the scene moments after firing multiple rounds. Önal had publicly exposed an illegal betting and money laundering network he claimed involved senior Turkish politicians, including figures close to President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. He warned in a recent interview, "I'm a black box, they'll want to silence me." Before his death, Önal submitted a 120-page deposition to Dutch and US authorities, detailing financial links between Turkish state actors, organized crime, and offshore shell companies. His murder comes 3 years after the killing of his former boss, Falyali, in northern Cyprus, another case mired in allegations of political complicity. The Dutch investigation is ongoing, but questions swirl over how Önal could be killed while under protection. Turkish opposition leader Özgür Özel raised his case in parliament just days before, calling for a full investigation into what he described as a criminal alliance between government and mafia. A new BBC World Service documentary has shed light on Turkey's expanding military presence in northern Iraq, raising serious questions about sovereignty and civilian safety. The Forbidden Zone, Why is Turkey Building Military Bases Inside Iraq?, was released on the 30th of April and has already attracted tens of thousands of viewers. Using satellite imagery and open-source intelligence, the BBC identified more than 130 Turkish military bases scattered across Iraq's Kurdistan region, an area it dubs the Forbidden Zone. The documentary suggests that what began as targeted operations against the Kurdistan Workers' Party, or PKK, has evolved into what some describe as a de facto military occupation. The program documents the toll on civilians, citing 711 people killed or injured in Turkish operations since 1991. One case follows a farmer, Hashan, who was wounded in a 2023 airstrike that killed his cousin. The BBC also examines the role of the Kurdistan Democratic Party, or KDP, accusing it of enabling Turkey's activities while failing to support affected civilians. Kurdish officials offered differing views, while Turkey declined to respond to the BBC's requests for comment. The documentary is likely to intensify scrutiny of Ankara's regional ambitions and human rights record. In a rare and urgent appeal, the spiritual head of Syria's Druze community, Sheikh Hikmat Suleiman al-Hijri, has called on the international community to intervene, as Druze-majority towns in southern Syria face siege, curfew, and escalating violence. The letter, dated the 1st of May and signed from Jabal al-Arab, accuses forces aligned with Syria's interim government, backed by the jihadist group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, of launching a deadly campaign of killings and terror in the Suwaida region. Sheikh al-Hijri warned that Druze civilians have endured 5 months of violence and humiliation, with each day bringing new pain and fresh tragedies. Local activists say checkpoints have sealed off Druze cities including Suwaida, Shaba and Kanawat, cutting access to vital supplies. Reports from human rights observers describe arbitrary arrests, shelling of civilian homes, and deliberate targeting of Druze areas. In his statement, Sheikh al-Hijri called for immediate international intervention, humanitarian aid, and an independent investigation into what he termed a campaign of collective punishment. He vowed the community would remain steadfast in defense of its dignity and survival. Rights groups and Druze diaspora organizations have echoed his plea, warning the situation risks spiraling into a broader conflict. Thousands gathered in the symbolic city of Kobane on the 1st of May to mark International Workers' Day, as the Autonomous Administration of North and East Syria declared an official public holiday in honor of labor and democratic rights. The event, held in Shihit Egid Square, brought together workers, artists, community leaders and activists under the slogan, "Let's celebrate May Day," together with a call for peace and a democratic society. The city of Kobane, globally recognized for its resistance against ISIS, served as a powerful backdrop for the celebrations, symbolizing resilience, grassroots democracy, and the Kurdish struggle for self-determination. Hedley Hessen, co-chair of the Democratic Society movement in Euphrates Canton, praised workers for their vital role in building a just society. "The struggle for a democratic and just society is inseparable from the struggle for workers' rights," she said. The Syrian Democratic Council, political wing of the Syrian Democratic Forces, issued a message of solidarity, calling May Day a symbol of dignity and justice for Syria's working class. Festivities included traditional music, dance, and public honors for workers, all underscoring the autonomous administration's commitment to a pluralistic and decentralized future. Amid ongoing conflict and hardship, Kobane's May Day sent a clear message that peace, justice, and labor rights remain central to the region's vision for the future.